Welcome to Into the Mind of a Madman. You are now rocking with me, the Madman. Today, I'm here to talk to you not about voting, but the ability to vote. Now, to be honest, I'm not really wanting to talk about voting. I don't really want to talk about voting. I'm using this opportunity now that the election has passed to use the voting process to talk about something much greater that I feel is much greater. The ability to, right? I feel like this is the perfect springboard to get you to understand what's the difference of having the right to, the ability to, and actually using it. Because every election cycle, I would say every not even election cycle, every presidential election cycle, there there's a conversation of do you vote, do you not vote, and for the people who don't vote, a lot of the rhetoric or thought process is why would I vote for a system that it doesn't necessarily count my vote. It doesn't it's not a real like when it comes to like the electoral college and all of that type stuff. I'm not here to go into all of that. But my vote doesn't count. My why would I vote for a system that's against me like throughout the years, like especially being a black man, uh in a growing up in an urban culture. We come with police brutality. We come with you got to work two times as hard. We come with the background of slavery, Jim Crow, the redlining, uh the civil rights movement, all of these things, all of these things. Now, that's the sentiment. Why vote for a corrupt system? You get what I'm saying? And then you have the opposite of that. The and the thought process is, you know, through the slavery, through the civil rights movement, all of the deaths that our ancestors went through to give us the right to vote. Obviously, if this is the movement of the country and this is how this country sees change, it was it was the it's some it's some power in voting and having that right. So use it. Our ancestors, we can't have them die for nothing, have them die in vain for this right. Obviously, if they died for it, it had to be important. If it obviously if they kept you from having this right, they knew the importance of it. So when you get it, why wouldn't you use it? That's the two sides. I'm on the side of using it if you believe in it. Using it if you see the candidate, you see the opportunity that benefit you and where you see the direction of your life, your family's life, your friends' life, your associates' life, your culture's lives. If you see the benefit within what you're looking to get out of life, please use it. Don't don't be scared to stand up for the right that is yours. I'm for that. I'm also for, if you do not see the benefit, you do not see the movement for the culture, do not use it, because that is your right. You know what I'm saying? But I say that in the stand in the I say that because I want to bring the conversation to what happens when you don't use it. I want to have that conversation because, to me, looking out on podcasts, looking out on the social media, having conversations in real life with different people, I feel like the conversation stops, or it gets stagnant at, oh, you vote, I don't vote. Oh, you stupid for voting, you stupid for not voting. Our ancestors died for this. Why wouldn't you vote? On these things, you know what I'm saying? Well, your ancestors died, and it's still the same thing. And I live a life where it doesn't affect me, and all these things, right? We just get into that back and forth. I don't, for one. So I want to progress. This is about progression of that conversation, right? So now that I laid out both sides, now that I laid out, as you may see, I believe in, yes, we have the right, but use the right if you want to use it, and don't use that right if you don't want to use it. But there's a piece to that I'm leaving out. So let's progress. Let's progress. If you don't want to use your right to do something, hold on. Matter of fact, let's progress it, but let me bring it back for a second. Our ancestors died for the right and for the ability to. They did not die to do. Let me say it one more time. The ancestors fought and died, the civil rights movement, for the ability to, the right to. They did not die for you to do and use and misuse. I've heard many conversations, and even, I'm not even gonna bring that up. I heard many conversations of integration. Didn't we have something better when we were separated? Integration brought down the culture. No, integration in the civil rights movement was for the right to, not that you had to. We want the right to. We want the ability to, not that you have to. We must understand, people, black people. This is a black conversation I'm having. Black people, we must understand. Yes, we had our own towns. We had, the Black Wall Streets and the Wilmingtons, and all the several, black owned uh communities, towns. We had that, to where, yes, when civil rights came and we coming out of slavery and we want to progress in life, that we seen, or a few people seen, part of progressing and part of having the ability to move freely in within the community and outside the community, we have to have some sort of integration, right? Because anybody to tell you to in order to win a war, it must be won or it must be fought on multiple fronts, right? And having our own communities, part of having our own communities, having our own resources must come with integrating so people or the country doesn't feel like they're ever at war. We live in United States, right? The country. If we have a community, a black owned community, that community can thrive. But as much as that community thrives, you have to understand that community, that town is in a bigger ecosystem, which that ecosystem may be against that black community or say you can only thrive but so much as long as you stay within that community or stay within that town. And you might be comfortable with that. But what happens when you want to start taking the resources for that town and expand them to the next town and expand it to a next town and not necessarily have 20 towns across America? Or you trying to say, I'm saying I want to have a whole state and have a whole 5 states. I have a whole 20 states within a state of 50. You get what I'm saying? The people who are in the 50 say, nah, you might only can have one town here, one town here, one town here, one town there, scattered out. You get what I'm saying? Because we separate. Once you start building on top of more, and more, they may look at you as opposition. I'm just telling you my point of view. This is why towns get bombed. Oh, you doing too much over there. Oh, you looking to expand? It's cool when you just trying to do your one little thing over there. But once you trying to expand and start taking over the state, start taking over multiple states, start taking over half of the country, how far do you think that gets you? So yes, let's integrate. Let's keep our community, but some of us have to integrate into the system. So now when they see we are them and they are us, and we can do the work and as good, better, equal, lesser than whatever the circumstances is as you and I, it creates a level of comfortability to where now you don't see that as an opposition. That's what y'all got to start understanding. Black Wall Street doesn't get bombed because they didn't care or they just found you to be cool or like they were very aware of what was going on. And with that awareness, they said we can't have this expanding. So yes, certain people like Martin Luther King felt like integration should bring some rapport between the two. it should bring some understanding that I am capable of doing the job just as good as you are. So let me sit side by side with you. Let our kids go to school together side by side. They grow up the same knowledge, the same resources, and that then helps when we have our own communities, because now we not working in fear, but we're working together. You get what I'm saying? That's the start of it. So integration wasn't about proving that we want to be one of you because we only see the value. We want you to only see the value in us as we are you. It's no, we want you to see the value in us because we are us. And we are capable of doing the same. Let's not have a war between us. So integration is needed. Integration is needed. So when we start to expand, if we had the opportunity to expand from not just one town in Oklahoma and then one town in Texas and then one town in New York and then one city in Florida and one city in California, it's too expanded. We need to have multiple cities in Oklahoma, multiple cities in Texas, and like I said, eventually, oh, we taking over Texas, or Texas is the whole black community. Florida is a whole black community. California is a whole black community. See what I'm saying? So now when we travel, we're not, oh, we got to make it another 300 miles to get gas because we only buy black. We gotta make it another 20 miles to go to the bathroom because we just drove 150 miles from the last black owned town. You gotta think, black owned communities wasn't in abundance compared to the landscape of the United States. It was not only Black Wall Street in Oklahoma. There were other black owned communities and towns, cities thriving. But the integration was needed because we can't travel and only get the resources from every 200 to 300 miles and get the be able to use the bathroom, be able to eat, be able to relax and get hotels for the night every 2, 3, 400 miles. If you want to drive, if you want to just be able to move around, say you going from New York to Florida, and you don't want to drive straight through. You see what I'm saying? You want to be able to, if one night you want to go, shit, I just want to go over here just to go to the beach. I don't have to make it down to Florida in one day because I got to go from my black community to the other black community. I need a black community in between that, or I need a community in between that where it is black and white people, the integration part, to where I could just relax and just go chill on the beach. So to think that it was a bad thing of integration is just ridiculous to me. But back on topic, but like that's part of the topic. But it was for the fight was for the right to, the ability to, right? So, yes, let's create integration so we can have the ability to the right to sleep here, use the bathroom, eat, rest, party, whatever, right? And also have our black communities, our black owned resources, the right to vote, the right to not vote. So now that we have the right to, now let's use it responsibly. Now, if you don't want to vote, that's your thing. I'm not a person who believes in not voting means you're voting for the other side. I think that's one of the dumbest sayings ever. Simply because there are many people who do not vote on either side of red and blue. There are many people who vote green, independent. If you are a registered Democrat or Republican, say you're a registered independent and you vote for an independent person, a Green Party person, does that mean you're voting for either Republican or Democrat because you voted for a Green Party person, an independent person? Like the saying don't make sense. Just a vote for you not voting for Kamala means it's a vote for Trump. A vote for Trump or not voting for Trump means it's a vote for Kamala. What? No, a no vote is a no vote. Because the same person who doesn't vote for either one of the two and may vote a Green Party person, where did that vote go to? That just means a no vote or independent vote or whatever vote just means it's a no vote. And that just means the people who vote have to vote more for their person. Or more Democrats got to come out than Republicans at the end of the day. If that, or the more Kamala people have to come out than more Trump people. If you're gonna vote, vote. You know what I'm saying? If you're not gonna vote, and like I said, this now that we establish the integration and actually why you want to have the right to, right? Because the ancestors, the movements, the Martin Luther Kings, the Malcolm X's, and the countless others, the right to is the right to do and the right to not do, right? And if you want to not do, then this, like I said, this is the progression. If you want to not do, I need the conversation to be then. So, how do you, would you like to do to see the change? Because please understand, people, when it comes to voting, whether your candidate wins or not, that's not the end all be all. And this is why this particular voting, the elections, is good for this topic to use. Because simply because you vote for a particular president, they still need the House to pass the bill. They still need the Senate to pass the bill for them to for the bill to stand and move concurrently for years, right? And going to the Supreme Court and all of that. Now, as we seen, you know, and maybe a surprise to a lot of people, maybe not, I don't know. But when Trump got in office the first time, he did a lot of executive orders. And that was kind of surprise to people because we were always fed that a president couldn't really do anything unless a bill passed. And that is the proper way of doing things. But the president, however, the president has and a special ability to, like I said, to pass executive orders, and it's supposed to be used for like in a dire crisis type of moment. You know what I'm saying? Like we don't got time to, like, this is imminent. Something imminent is about to happen, and so we don't got time for the Senate to get together and create a bill and draft a bill and go over it and say yeah and nay, and then it got to go pass to the House. I mean, pass to the House, then pass to the Senate. Let me make this executive order, and then by the time a couple days go by or whatever, like let it go into effect now, and then the House can come in the morning and then pass the bill. Then it gets sent to the Senate the next day, and then in 3 days time, we can say, all right, whether that's good or not. All right, let's stop doing that. Let's keep doing that. Whatever. And that's what an executive order is supposed to be for. And it's just like an imminent situation. But we see Trump do things with these executive orders, and then we see the House stop it, the Senate stop it, and all of that, right? But like I said, for the most part, the proper way, the proper procedure is to draft the bill, go to the House, pass through the House, pass, go to the Senate, pass through the Senate, pass. You know what I'm saying? Any discrepancies or whatever after that, we go to the Supreme Court and all of that. But when you have the houses of representatives and the Senate, you have lobbyists, you have certain people, like, whether you for lobbyists or not or whatever, you understand, like, there are people who are put in place to propose certain laws and bills to the Senate, and it's money in it. You know what I'm saying? You actually paying people to present these things, so like one of the representatives can draft the bill to then progress some cause. You see what I'm saying? That's what a lobbyist is. And so, like I said, if you're not gonna vote and you just allow whoever to get into office because what I mean, you're not particularly with whatever agenda they're with, what other ways are you looking to then improve your circumstances? Are you trying to put money into a lobbyist? Are you trying to go to your local council and create some things? Are you trying to join local councils, the districts, and all that? Even though that's in an election part, that's on your election. What, every 2 years, every year there's an election. By the way, people, they're like, I believe there are at least two different elections. I know there's like one in November and like one in maybe like June, May, June, July. I don't really know. I'm not really up on it like that. But there's more than one election day, and there are other, like, and it happens every year. It's not once every 4 years. That's presidential races 4 years. But there's Senate races every 2 years. There's districts every year. Like we gotta be on top of these things. You know what I'm saying? So yes, if you're not necessarily in tune with the presidential candidate, and the presidential candidate is not speaking for you, or the person you voted for didn't win, there are other ways to progress within this nation of trying to achieve what you want to achieve. See what I'm saying? And for the people who vote and for the people who don't vote, let's not be stuck on the conversation of I just think you're a bad person because you vote, or I think you're an ignorant person because you're voting for a country who doesn't support you or whatever, whatever. And oh, I think you're stupid because your ancestors died for this and you didn't vote or whatever, whatever, whatever. What I'm saying, progress the conversation. All right. Now that your candidate is in office, are you following up on his proposals to which you voted for him in office for? Are you looking at the Senate and the House of Representatives? Are you looking at your district's representatives and going to these town hall meetings to make sure it trickle down to you? Are you not voting? Cool, you didn't vote. You didn't pick either candidate, or you pick the candidate that didn't win, or whatever, whatever. Are you still going to town hall meetings and all of these things to try to get your agenda met? That's what we got to start talking about. Like I said, we have the right to do it now. Let's start using the right. And I'm always for one. Let me tell y'all where I stand. I stand on, if the people, us black people, or us for anybody who feels like they're not getting their just due within this country. If you are willing to overthrow the government and to start anew, and you're going to live in this society how it is, you must now either vote or become a lobbyist or go to the town hall meetings and go to your representatives and try to enact change. That's where I stand. The voting to me is like putting a candidate you like in position to hopefully do what they said they were going to do. But still, once you put them in that position, you must follow up to make sure they do these things. And that follow up may come with having to pay money or monies for particular campaigns and resources and all of these things. So I personally don't care if you vote or don't vote. It's the other things that count more to me. So for all the people who didn't vote, now what you gonna do? How because there's still Democratic senators. There's still Democratic House of Representatives. There's still Republic senators. There's still Republic representatives. There's still independents out there. You know what I'm saying? That there's still so many people in the government, from state level to federal level to city level to the district level in your town, that you can report to and be on top of and keep writing letters and keep showing up to meetings and keep being in their faces. Whatever you got to do that goes so much beyond voting. And that is your right. That's what you have the ability to do. That is what your ancestors fought for. Because before we had that, they were killing us. They were telling us we were 3/5 of a person. Things of that nature. We were looked at as property. Let's not diminish, we cannot diminish what the civil rights movement was really about. The right to the right to and not to have people be our opposition, because we are one. We need to be seen as them, and they need to see us, as them. You know what I'm saying? We are one. That's what integration was for. So we can then have our independence. That is the what is the right and the ability to. Once again, my peoples, I love y'all. Let's just have some more conversation. I love you. I'm out.